AITA for refusing to help my daughter with her car payment because she is a stripper? I, 47 meters, have a 22-year-old daughter. She's in college and lives on campus. I agreed to help her make car payments since she was in school. I was recently informed by a young man I work with that my daughter strips at a club about 40 minutes away. I confronted her on this and she said she didn't plan to do it after she graduated, and she needed some money. I told her then work at McDonald's, not use her body. We got into an argument, and I asked her to quit stripping and get a decent job then. She refused and said stripping was easy money. So basically I said there was no need for me to pay her car payment anymore since she is making money so easily. She got upset and said that wasn't fair, and that she doesn't make enough for that. I told her to figure it out. She told my wife about what happened, and my wife is upset by her job of choice but says it's unfair for me to stop supporting her so suddenly over an argument. I think it's perfectly fair. It's my money and my decision when to cut it off. Did you lecture your coworker for going to an indecent place? So in order to convince your daughter to stop stripping, you stopped paying her car and now she has to strip more. Ha ha ha, nice one, dude. The real is the tattletale coworker. A question: how did this young man come to find out? Okay, so you cut off her car payment, so now your daughter will double down and take extra stripping shifts to pay for it. So cutting her off is not going to make her stop either way. YTA. She's doing what she has to do. You may not like it, but it pays a lot better than McDonald's for fewer hours. So she doesn't have to run herself ragged while trying to study, work, and have a social life all at the same time. Unfortunately, minimum wage has stagnated for about 2 decades due to people your age and older insisting that it should remain low and that jobs like McDonald's are entry-level jobs and should be paid poverty wages. She would have to work 35 times as many hours in a much more physically demanding job to make the same money she's making now. You're asking for her to demote herself. Like it or not, every job anyone has ever worked is selling their body and their time. How is the laborer who has a bad back by 50 selling their body any less? Also, your aid in paying her car payments wasn't contingent on her having a specific job or staying away from a specific job. So moving the goalposts now is ridiculous. Edit. I just noticed your username. Was that randomly generated, or a thinly veiled way of calling your daughter a whore? Not use her body. What is she supposed to use at McDonald's? What kind of asshole tells a woman's parents that they saw their daughter stripping? As if that's any of his business to get into? Your gross coworker, who goes to strip clubs to ogle women but then tattletales on them, is the biggest in this emo. YTA. You should have asked the guy you work with what he hoped to gain by telling you this. The only reason people have a stigma against stripping is because it's where a woman is using her body however she likes. And of course men are threatened by it because they get no say over it. If there were stipulations for the car payments, you should have said so before starting. Are you prepared to destroy your relationship with your child over this? Because it just might. Grow up. If you object to her working, pay her as much as she is making. If you no longer want to support her, be a model of adulthood and kindness by coming up with a plan to ease her into covering an expense that you agreed to cover. And stop talking to jerks at work who want to stir up drama. Yes. YTA. As both a former short order cook and former strip club bouncer, believe me when I say that stripping is the more respectable profession. Just to be clear, You're cutting your own daughter off because people are looking at her jublies. Really think about how conditional your love is. Your daughter can make twice as much, if not more, per hour as a stripper compared to MCDs. So she's either doing 2 4-hour shifts or 4 4-hour shifts. With classes and studying, I'd rather work 812 hours a week compared to 1624 to bring in the same amount of cash. If you push this, it will be her grades that suffer. YTA. YTA. I get it. I'm a dad with daughters. But you're being a dick. If you don't want her doing it, then supporting her would be more effective. Not cutting her off. You're also a hypocrite, because I guarantee that you've consumed some product of sex workers for your own pleasure. Good enough for other people's daughters but not yours, huh? Whether you are the asshole or not isn't as important as what will happen if you quit paying her car payment. She's going to go looking for more money. Probably as strip clubs. YTA by adding conditions to your agreement after the fact. YTA for shaming your daughter. YTA for not being a man of your word. YTA. You'd continue the car payment if she worked at Mickey D's. But not if she's a stripper. It's expensive to go to college now. Much more so than when you were that age. Look long and hard at why a job at McD's is preferable to a job that pays 2 to 5 times better than that. It's your money, sure, but it's also your relationship with your daughter. Are you willing to sacrifice that to prevent her from using her body? Info. Who pays for her school and housing? Is the car payment a financial hardship for you? Stripping aside, did she misrepresent her income in order to get you to pay her car note? Example. Did she say she only makes $300 per month when in reality it's $3,000? YTA. You're just making her need the job more. YTA. Working at McDonald's would still be selling her body and having to deal with drunk misogynist assholes. But for a whole lot less money and respect. Info. Op. Are you aware you're going to further push her into stripping by cutting her off financially? She's going to need more money now. Oftentimes, college students cannot work 3,040 hours a week. What she'd likely need to work at McDonald's to make what she's making. And still succeed academically. YTA. Of course it's your money. Blah, blah, blah. But what it comes down to is you being a controlling Do you honestly think that your daughter would make as much at McDonald's as she does stripping? Do you think she is moonlighting as a prostitute, having sex with these men? And I love it when people say, don't use your body. What else is she supposed to use? Someone else's body? If she was on the cover of Vogue, would you say, don't use your body? Or maybe somewhere in between. Is it okay if she works at Hooters in a short skirt and a tight t-shirt? Down the road, when your daughter doesn't speak to you anymore, I hope you think your high and mighty attitude was worth it.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.